Hello everyone, Seraphin here. Welcome back to Pokémon Soul Silver. When I last left you guys, we finally obtained the ability to capture Pokémon, which, as you might imagine, is pretty integral to this game, considering the whole point is to, you know, catch them all and everything. That being said, we are going to continue on our way. We've kind of been given the free ability to kind of go where the heck we want now, to a certain extent at any rate. We already ran back that weird egg to Professor Elm, so we don't need to make a trip back there or anything. So now I have the ability to just kind of wallop on people as I see fit. I don't think a level 2 Pidgey is worth my time, really, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. So I know I mentioned earlier that I'm going to try to train things that I've not used before. I just noticed I don't have, I need to speed up my text speed here. Oh, I also wanted to do was, I'm going to set my battle style to set, as opposed to shift. So what this means, you haven't seen it yet, only because I've only had the one Pokemon, but during a trainer battle, if you have multiple Pokemon on your team, and so does your opponent, you will, if you go to the default setting of shift, the game will actually ask you, before the trainer sends out the next Pokemon, hey, do you want to switch to? Whereas opposed to set, it does not ask you that, and you leave out whatever you had out at the time, and they just send out their next Pokemon. Honestly, I prefer using this, only because it's more of a competitive mindset, so to speak. When you're playing competitive Pokemon, it's always on set, and I think, honestly, playing with this on just kind of forces you to be a better, just a better battler. So I like to leave it on. Shift, I think, is easy mode. This is a great way just to ramp up the difficulty a little bit, even if you don't want to, like, necessarily make it hard, like use just worse Pokemon or something, or just use crappy moves or no evolutions or whatever. This is a great way to dial it up to a pretty decent margin. It's not game-breaking or anything, but it's enough. And also reduce their text speed to fast, obviously, so now I can move and scroll through text a little quicker. So, given that I have used Pidgey in nearly every single time that I've played this game, we will not be using Pidgey this playthrough. I think what I'm going to do, since I'm still going to need a decent flying type, is I might use Spearow instead. I don't believe I've ever used the Spearow, at least not in the long term. Who is this person? No, you don't say. I know there's a Spearow in this grass up here somewhere, or Spearows can be obtained. Case in point. That is a level 2. I'd prefer one a little higher than that, but... And I don't want to get Chikorita too powered up, simply because if I make her... I keep saying her, it's a dude. If I make Chikorita too strong, then it's going to be very difficult for me to weaken enemy Pokemon, as opposed to just outright killing them. You know what? Screw it. I don't feel like waiting through the grass forever just to catch a Spearow. Let's just get this one. Assuming I don't kill it in the process. So, you'll see here I have 2 normal type moves and 1 grass type move. Chikorita is itself grass type. And there is a neat little thing in Pokemon, and it's existed ever since the first games. If you use a move type that matches the type of Pokemon that's using it, you actually get a power boost. To the tune of like 1.5 times the normal power, which is a lot. So if Chikorita uses this Razor Leaf, it's going to be a lot more powerful than a non-grass type using Razor Leaf. Generally speaking, non-grass types don't learn Razor Leaf, but you never know. At any rate, the Tackle, however, is normal type. Chikorita is not normal, so it'll retain its basic power. We're just going to go with Tackle. That being said, Flying does resist grass, so the extra power I would gain from Razor Leaf would basically still be negated and then some, because it would be cut in half as a result of Spearow resisting it. So instead of doing a 1.5 times power, it would do 3/4 power, basically. But we're just going to go with Tackle. Tackle's a bit weaker than Razor Leaf anyway. Alright, cool, I didn't kill it. And it would have growled at me anyway. Growl, you'll see here, reduces my attack stat, which is fun. So with the Spearow sufficiently weakened, we are going to huck a Pokeball at it. And hopefully gain an addition to our party. That would be very, very nice. And you see you get the 3 shakes and then the stars. That means you got it. Pokemon do have the opportunity to break out of the Pokeballs at during any one of those 3 shakes or before. But once you see the stars, obviously you've gotten it. It is very rare that the Pokeball will shake 3 times and then they break out. Generally speaking, if you see a 3rd shake, you've got it. It's very rare that you don't. It's possible that sometimes really rare Pokemon or very high catch rate Pokemon will break out before it even shakes once. you know, unfortunately, too, there's just a randomized algorithm whether you catch them or not. It is entirely possible to catch even legendary Pokemon with basic Pokeballs, even when they're I don't know if it's possible if they're like at full health or without a status effect or something, but there's a lot of formulas and variables that go into your rate of capturing Pokemon. But we'll talk about that some other time. For now, we get a Spearow, and it's a tiny bird Pokemon. Normal and flying type, which will be very nice. So the same typing as a Pidgey, for example. Again, I'm not good at thinking up nicknames. I should have done that. But at any rate, so let's take a look at our new Pidgey, shall we? He gets added to our party immediately because we have some free space in our team. It is a relaxed nature. That means, oh geez, its speed goes down? Ugh, I don't like that. I would rather have one that didn't have a detriment to speed, because speed is going to be very, very important for Spearow, and later on Fearow. Oh, a Geodude. Now, I have used Geodude a lot in the past, too, so, again, I will not be using Geodude here. Might as well catch one just for the sake of it, because, well, I need to fill out the Pokedex, so might as well catch me a Geodude. That was a critical hit. Geodude has very impressive defensive stats, as you might imagine from a rock. And the fact that it is rock type also means that Tackle does not do a great deal of damage against it. You'll see there it's not very effective. Rock is an interesting type. It's got a lot of weaknesses, but it also has a lot of resistances. It's weak to water, grass, fighting, and steel, I think. But it resists normal, it resists fire, it resists bug, it resists poison, I think. So yeah, very tanky defensive type. But even though I'm not using it, we're just going to go ahead and capture one just because it'll fill up the Pokedex that much quicker. There is a reason to fill up the Pokedex, even if you're not trying to, quote-unquote, catch them all. There are certain rewards. Oh, geez, he broke out on the last shake. Shoot, it was so close, too. So depending on what shake they break out on, you'll see a different message. And he's just kind of buffing his defense here. I only have 5 Pokeballs, so I got to be careful here. Whoops. I'm going to buy some more as soon as I get to Cherry Grove, but that is neither here nor there. So go ahead and stay on the ball this time, dude. Geodude. There we go, got him. So I've got 2 left. I'm going to try to get another Spearow, hopefully with a less negative nature. So here we get Geodude's data in the Pokedex. He is a rock and ground type. Rock and ground, unfortunately, is double weak to 2 things. Meaning, rather than taking double damage from being super effective on an attack, it takes 4 times the damage from water and from grass types, because ground and rock are both weak to those, and they just kind of multiply together. So yeah, Geodude very, very allergic to grass, very, very allergic to water. Even a really weak attack is enough to usually take them down. Not only that, but because most grass and water type attacks are special in nature rather than physical, and Geodude has pathetic special defense. Very good physical defense, but not very good special defense. Now here's another Spearow. Let's see if this one's any better, shall we? I'll just go ahead and tackleize it, because that's the way you do things. Alright, took about the same amount of damage. Oh, geez, I forgot it has a flying type move, Peck, and Chikorita is weak to that. That's okay. It's still only level 2 to my level 8, and I'm tanky, so we should be okay. Go ahead and hook a Pokeball at this sucker. Hopefully it doesn't break out, because I've only got 1 ball left. Nope, that's another Spearow for us. I'm not going to be spending here all day here trying to hunt for a really good nature or anything like that. I'm just going to go with a tolerable one. That might take a little bit, but I'm not going to be doing that the entire time, I promise, because otherwise we'll be here all night. Alright, how's the Spearow looking here? A modest nature, that's not any good. That's minus attack. That would be really good on something like an Abra, or, you know, at any rate. Why don't I go grab more Pokeballs real quick before I come back here. And I also wouldn't mind grabbing a quick heal at the Pokemon Center. I'm just going to run this way. And I might be able to catch something else on the way there. Like this Sentret, for example. Sentret is only available during the daytime or the morning. You'll see we're kind of like in the twilight hours right now. The sun's starting to set in the background, so this is our last chance to get a Sentret before the sun goes down. So now's a good time to get one of these, since I might not be able to get one quite so easily later on. I don't plan on using it. Sentret's really not all that good, unfortunately. It's in the same ballpark as, like, Zigzagoon from Generation 3, or even Rattata, Raticate. Although I will say, Rattata and Raticate kind of have their niche. They're very quick and have decent attack. Sentret is just mediocre, unfortunately. Not really good at anything. Not very powerful, doesn't learn any good moves, doesn't really have a niche at all, so it's just there for you to collect. It's cute, whatever, I get it. Alright, so we get the Sentret, that's cool. During the nighttime, Sentret will be replaced by Hoot Hoot, which is an owl, as you might imagine. Just normal type, it's not even a good type, it's just neutral. Anyway, so now that we got that Apricorn box that I totally forgot about in the last episode, we can pick the Apricorn from this tree by shaking it. And out it pops. It's a green Apricorn, or Green Apricorn. Anyway, so a green Apricorn, I don't remember what type of ball that turns into, but we'll have to find out when we have the ability to do that. Right now we don't. So let's drop into the Pokemon Center real quick here, and get healed up. Including the party that I won't be using. Sure, I'll rest my Pokemon, why the heck not? I have 5 now, which is funny because I don't plan on using any of them. And since I don't plan on using any of them, but I do want to keep them for Pokédex sake, I'm going to drop them in the PC. Now, I haven't talked about this yet. The PC is invaluable for a number of reasons. Turning it on, you see we have access to someone's PC. That's ominous. I have access to my own PC, and I can turn the PC off. So my own PC is where I go to read mail. I can also modify Pokeball capsules and, like, decorate them. Not really sure what the point of that is. I've seen some nifty ways of doing that, but it's kind of a gimmick, really. And I don't have any mail, so no point in sticking around in here. If I go to someone's PC, however, we find out who someone is later, by the way, but it's the Pokémon Storage System. So I'm just going to go ahead and move Pokemon, because this is easier than anything else. So you'll see I have a number of boxes available to me. It looks like I have... Oh, it looks like I have several boxes, as a matter of fact. 16, 17, 18 boxes. 18 boxes, and each one of them holds 30 Pokemon. So I can hold quite a few Pokemon, let's put it that way. It sounds like 560 total I can store. So what we're going to do is drop into our party. We are going to deposit the ones we're not using for storage purposes. That will be Spearow, Geodude, and Sentret. And I don't need 2 Spearows in my box, so what we're going to do with this one is... We're just going to click on him outside the box, and we're going to release it. Since I don't need it. And you can't release the last Pokemon in your party. I don't know why you'd want to let your starter go. At any rate. So this is where you go to store Pokemon. You can actually change the name of the box, I believe. Yep, change box. Oh yeah, here we go, name. You can also change the wallpaper. You have a decent amount of different choices. I think you actually can unlock additional ones. Yeah, there's 4 here, 4 more here. So there's 8 we don't have access to yet. I forget how you get most of them, but you can spend time decorating your boxes. I like to color code them by type or something like that. That's what I used to do anyway. Right now, I'm not too concerned about it. By the way, the box is where Pokemon get sent if you capture one in the wild and your party is full. They get automatically sent here. I don't know if in this generation... It used to be, back in the day, like in the original Red and Blue and in the original Gold and Silver, if you had a full box and you tried to capture something, it's like, sorry, your box is full. You can't catch anything. Nowadays, it just rolls over to the next free available box. But I don't know if it's the case in this game in particular. I believe it is, but don't quote me on that. I know for a fact that's how it is in Generation 6 and 7. But, again, I'm not entirely certain if it's still the case in this one. So, once again, we're going to go looking for a decent Spearow. And I just realized I didn't buy any freaking Pokeballs, so this is a useless gesture. That was awfully silly of me. Why did I forget to do that? That's alright. I'll just run back and go get some Pokeballs then. Why don't I do that? And that'll give us a chance to look at the Pokemart too, since we haven't been in there yet. These people have nothing interesting to say, by the way. You don't usually find anybody interesting to talk to until you get into some of the bigger cities. Sometimes they'll give you free stuff, which is always fun, but for right now they have nothing good to offer us. So let's run to the Pokemart real quick. I should have a decent chunk of cash. You start with some money, enough to buy what you need starting out. There's actually 2 clerks in here. This one is one we want to buy stuff from. They sell Pokeballs, they sell potions, Antidotes for curing poison, and Paralyze Heal for eliminating paralysis. Imagine that. We don't really need either of these. It's not that big of a deal to worry about right now, so we're just going to buy some Pokeballs. I like to buy them in batches of 10 at a time. I don't know if this is one of those games where you get Premier Balls when you do that. Let's find out. 2,000 Pokebucks, or Poke-Yen, I guess. You put away the Pokeballs. You also get a Premier Ball as a bonus. So, when you buy at least 10 Pokeballs at once, they'll give you a free Premier Ball as an added bonus. That's every single time you do that. And Premier Balls are the same exact capture rate as regular Pokeballs. They're just like inverted colors. Instead of, you know, red and white with like with a black stripe along the center, they're completely white with like a red stripe in the center. What does this person sell? Just mail and a heal ball. So this is a different kind of Pokeball. I guess you can buy these in certain places. Whenever you capture something with this, it fully heals their HP and eliminates any status problems. This is really kind of pointless. Generally speaking, if you're just out catching stuff, you don't care what the status of it is, because you're not going to use it right away, and as soon as it goes to your PC, it gets healed anyway. The only reason that you'd want to use a heal ball is if you catch something that you plan on using immediately, like right there and then, and you have space for it in your party. If not, it's useless. And it doesn't have a better catch rate either, so I won't be buying any of those. There are a lot of nifty Pokeballs that have some really neat uses. There's something called the Luxury Ball, which is this really fancy, really well-decorated Pokeball. And if you capture something in that, the Pokemon's base happiness will be a much higher default rate. And what do I mean by happiness? Well, there's a hidden stat that every Pokemon has, which is their happiness with you, like how much they like you. And the more you train the Pokemon, the more you use them in battle, the more you level them up, the more they like you. Imagine that. There are some things that will help increase their happiness rating quicker. You can go take them to the barber and get their hair cut, quote-unquote. I don't know. Not every Pokemon has hair, so I don't know how that works. But there's some things you can feed them that will give them extra happiness. There's actually some things you can feed them that will lower their happiness too, believe it or not. But at any rate, there are a couple of Pokemon that are dependent on having maximum happiness in order for them to evolve. A good example of that is Eevee, actually. In Generation 2, if you get maximum happiness with Eevee, and you level it up, it will evolve into either Espeon or Umbreon, depending on what time of day it is. If you level it up at maximum happiness during the day, you get Espeon. During the night, you get Umbreon. And that was a big deal. Golbat evolving into Crobat is another example of that, of evolving at maximum happiness. Togepi into Togetic. There's a few more examples, but those are some of the big ones in this generation. Let's see what we got here with the Spearow, shall we? A calm nature. Another attack down. You've got to be kidding me. Alright, we're going to try one more time. If I don't get a halfway decent Spearow one more after this next go, then we're just going to call it a night. And I'm running into Geodudes, because of course I am. I think that's all there is in this route, if I'm being totally honest. Might be some Rattatas, maybe. I haven't seen any yet, but... That's actually kind of weird. I haven't seen any Rattatas yet. Oh, there's one. I actually don't have one of those yet, so maybe I should catch this one. Just for kicks and grins. I've never used a Rattata, so I guess I could train one if I really wanted to, but... even though Rattata does have an interesting niche with being really fast and very powerful, it's paper thin. It dies to everything. They get really annoying to fight in the wild later on, especially Raticates, because they're a little bit beefier, and they usually have Hyper Fang or Super Fang, something to that effect, and they're just, oh, they're the worst. So annoying to fight. But there is a Rattata added to our Pokedex. That's cool. I will take what I can get. These first few episodes, by the way, are going to be a little slow going while I try to build a decent team. Sadly, there's not much in the way of decent team material until a bit later, so these first few ones that I'm trying to add are going to be a little extra important, only because I'm just going to need something other than my starter starting out, and it's really difficult to find decent Pokemon that aren't all normal type, or all flying type, or something, or all bug type. Those are a lot of the really intro type Pokemon, or bugs, birds, rats, that kind of deal here. Okay, here's another Spearow. Again, if I don't get a decent nature out of this one, I'm just going to roll with it and try to deal with it as best I can. Hopefully I don't critical hit and kill it in one go here. See, now that I just said that, I'm going to curse myself. No, we're good. As he pecks at me again. That's very not nice of him. Alright, whip this one of these Pokeballs. Already down to 7 again. That's fine, that should be enough for now. At least until we get to Violet City. Oh, come on, stay in the freaking ball. I don't have time for your nonsense. I have things to do. Well, quit doing that. Why does it default to that button instead of the use last item button? That is a really neat feature that they added in this particular game, is you just go into your bag and it's like, use the last item you used again. Very great for trying to capture things. You just throw another Pokeball at it, instead of having to sift through your bag for one. Spearow was caught. Fantastic. Alright, so 4th time's a charm, ladies and gentlemen, I hope. Let's go ahead and take a look at our new friend. Don't be something bad. Bashful. That's neutral. I will stick with that. That is a neutral nature. Nothing increased, nothing decreased. I'm happy with that. There we go. We have a Spearow, ladies and gentlemen. A usable Spearow. So let us head back to town. But I'll get back to town in the next episode, so stick around for that. So thank you all for sticking around for this one. Sorry for wasting your time catching a bunch of Spearows, but now I've got a usable one. That's the important thing. So we'll train him up and get a decent team going next time. So until then, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This has been Seraphin. Stay classy, internets.